Hey there guys, and welcome to another one of my votes videos. Tales of the Abyss is done, and Van has disappeared into nothingness. So, for those of you that may be new to the channel, one of the things that my channel is split up into two types of games. There is my primary game and a whole series of secondary games. The secondary games are games that I just want to play, but I don't necessarily have time to play, so I end up playing them into huge chunks and just uploading them for anyone that wants to see a blind run of that game. Once you start doing blind runs, I kind of hate playing games if I'm not recording. But I don't have the time to necessarily devote to a whole bunch of different games. So that's kind of sort of my solution. My primary game, however, is the game to which my channel is devoted. I try and make at least 3, if not 5, episodes per week of the primary game. And I also upload them as I play them. I try and be very diligent about that. I've always believed that I'm making Let's Plays here. And right in the name is the fact that it's a Let's Play, not a you watch me play. So I don't think it's fair for me to play a whole bunch of the game without you guys being able to offer comments, advice, and anything like that. I think that your involvement is absolutely crucial, and that builds back into this. I have a new primary game in order to, put on the channel, and since you guys' involvement is so crucial, you guys should have a say in what it is. And by a say, I mean you guys are picking what game it is. The way this is going to work is that you have 2 votes. Last time I did one of these, there were 3 games. I gave you 1 vote. Well, this time I'm going to be giving you 7 games, and so you'll get 2 votes. The important thing about this is I am not going to go through and try and match up and make sure that 2 people with similar names are the same. I'm not interested. So, when you make your 2 votes, make them in the same post. Do not post twice with 2 different games. If you do that, your second posting, your most recent posting, with the 1 game is the only posting I'm going to listen to. As I go through and get the votes, anytime I get a second person posting again, I'm just going to erase their first vote and replace it with the second. So make sure both of the games you want are in the same post. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to treat you guys like you're stupid, but I want to make sure that everyone gets, to have their voice heard in the way they want it to be heard. This vote is going to stay up for about 1 week. On Friday, July 5th, I am going to start the next Let's Play, determined by whoever wins this vote. The reason that takes so long is, again, I want the community to be involved. I want everyone to have a chance to see this. Some people are busy on the weekends, the 4th of July is coming up, so I'm going to, wait almost a full week before I start acting on this to make sure everyone has a chance. Alright? Alright. The first game of the 7 that you can pick from is Dark Cloud 2. Known as Dark Chronicle in Japan, Dark Cloud is a kind of a sleeper series. It's a series similar to Suikoden, where it came out and people liked it, but not initially. And by the time it really caught on and got a cult following, they'd sort of stopped making copies. So, I am very, very interested to see this, because I haven't played either Dark Cloud games. I have been told that you don't have to play Dark Cloud 1 to really play Dark Cloud 2, which is good, because I'm not going to. I've heard Dark Cloud 2 is the really, really good one. And I have been told that there is a, weird town-building aspect in the middle of the game, and I've always loved stuff like that. There was a game on the Wii called My Life as King that kind of had that, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was an exceptional idea, so I'd be really curious to see sort of the origins of putting that into other games. A lot of games have little things like that. I know Sesame Street 2 sort of had that, but it was terrible. So I would be really interested to see what Dark Cloud 2 does with that. The other reason that makes me very interested in this game is that apparently there are no blind runs of it on YouTube. And as a channel that specializes in blind runs, I kind of feel like I should remedy that. But it's up to you. Don't feel like I'm guilt-tripping you. Don't feel like you have to vote for it, because I said that. If you don't vote for it, it's very, very likely I'll probably just play it as a side project at some point. All of the games on this list are games that I want to play. So, just to kind of put things in perspective, the last time I had a vote, there were 3 games on it. All 3 of them have now been played. So, pick the game you want to see the most. Don't feel like you need to pick a game because I want to play it. I want to play them all. Second game, from the PlayStation 3, Eternal Sonata. Eternal Sonata is made by the same studio that made Tales of the Abyss. And from what little research I have done, it's a blind run, so I minimize the research I do. But needless to say, I do make sure it's a game I actually want to play. From what little research I've done, it seems very, very similar to Tales of the Abyss, at least in the fighting style and the way the game is designed. But it is not a part of the Tales series. And the reason that is so critical, and the reason that's so cool, is that when I first started Tales of the Abyss, I was lost. There was so much about this world that I just didn't understand, and I was just, huh? So I would be really interested to kind of get a more grounded, game experience from these guys, where there's not a whole bunch of stuff that pre-exists in the world that I don't necessarily know about. And I'm curious how they handle. I kind of feel like Eternal Sonata was their desire to pull people into the Tales series without releasing a Tales game, because people that aren't in the Tales series, they might just be intimidated and not want to start into this huge manifesto that spans 7 console generations. So I would be really interested to see that. Third option, from the Wii, is Xenoblade Chronicles. I want to say it was IGN, but I'm not positive. One of the review sites did say that Xenoblade Chronicles was the best game of 2012, beating out XCOM, which ended up in the number 2 spot. As you all probably know, I love XCOM. I think XCOM is a beautiful, brilliant game. So I'm really, really curious to see what beat it out, especially when what beat it out is an RPG. RPGs usually don't get a lot of love from, non-RPG fans, and IGN is not specifically an RPG site, so that they put it in the number 1 spot is really, really impressive. It's also kind of the swan song of the Wii. It's the last great game before the Wii U came out. And I have a Wii, and I'd like to get some use out of it. I really haven't used it all that much. I'm one of the few channels that really has not touched the Wii, because almost all the other channels seem to play nothing but Zeldas and Marios all the bloody time. I've never cast anything from my Wii, and I'd kind of be interested to have a reason to have that little box over there. Fourth option, back to the PlayStation 2. Dot Hack Infection. Dot Hack Infection is a game from, need to say, the PlayStation 2. I kind of already said that. It is a really, really interesting game. One of the things that you guys may remember about me is that I'm an absolute sucker for anything that is new or innovative. Anything that tries to explore a new idea is a game I want to see. I like seeing innovation and differences and new ideas coming forth. Dot Hack Infection is the first of a 4-part series of games, which, if I start this, I'll probably be roping myself into that for a while, but where it basically emulates an MMORPG. It's not an MMORPG, it's a single-player game, but the whole world it takes place in emulates one. So you don't have one party that runs around with you forever. At different parts of the story, different chapters, there will be certain of your friends that just aren't online at that point. So it allows you to have a number of different characters without straining credibility of why all these characters keep coming in and leaving, because, well, they've got other things to do. They've got a life, man. Really, really interested to see how that actually plays out, and I've heard it's really good. Fifth option, from the PlayStation 3, The Walking Dead. Oh, yeah. Last time I had this vote, a lot of people suggested The Walking Dead, and I refused to play it, for the simple reason that last time it wasn't finished yet. And I had a whole bunch of copyright woes when I was playing Persona 4 Arena right after it came out, and so I simply said, I'm not touching a game right after it comes out. That's actually why The Last of Us is not on this list, because I've heard amazing things about it, but I'm not playing it right after it comes out. I'm not doing it. So, Walking Dead, it has now been out for long enough that I feel comfortable playing it. So I've put it on the list. For those of you that don't know, A, pay attention. How did you not know about The Walking Dead? B, The Walking Dead is a game by the Telltale Games, and it reintroduced the concept of the point-and-click adventure. Point-and-click adventure was an old game type in like the early 90s, late 80s that kind of died out. It just wasn't selling well, and people just did not think that gamers appreciated it. Telltale said, no, you guys just do it wrong, and they made this game, and it was absolutely phenomenal from everything I understand. It is based on the world from which the series The Walking Dead comes from, but is not based on the series. So, the same characters won't show up. It's a completely standalone adventure. It's just the setting is the same. Sixth option. From the Wii, or technically from the GameCube, but effectively from the Wii, because I don't have a GameCube. Skies of Arcadia. Legends. Skies of Arcadia is a phenomenal RPG that people have been telling me to play low since it came out around the late 90s. So, for almost 15 years now. The problem is, it came out on the Dreamcast, which I have never owned. But, thankfully, the studio that made it made like an expansion, or not even an expansion, like a Ultimate Edition on the Wii called Skies of Arcadia Legends. And on the GameCube, actually, but I can play that one. One of the rules I have is that I will not emulate any system I don't own. I don't think that's ethical. I feel like if I'm going to use my computer to emulate something, it should be for something that I could legally and legitimately play. I do actually have the Wii. I'll be playing it from the Wii if I end up playing it. But for like the PlayStation 2, I play it from my computer. But I feel absolutely okay doing that because I legitimately own a PlayStation 2. To use a computer to play a game I could not play otherwise, it strikes me as unfair. That's also why, even though for the most part I play from downloaded ROMs, I always actually buy the physical copy of the game. Again, it's ethically correct in my opinion. So that's why I will not play the Dreamcast version. I'm going to play the GameCube one because that's the only one I could play for reals. Seventh and final option, from I don't even know what system, Tales of something. The entire time I was playing Tales of the Abyss, people kept telling me what Tales game I should play next. And people kept not being able to agree which Tales game that would actually be. So, I still don't know. And being that I do blind runs, I really haven't researched them to any degree. Whenever it's a part of a series I've already played and already enjoyed, I really don't spend a whole lot of time investigating to make sure I'll like the other games in the series, because they're in the same series. I kind of assume I'm going to like them. So, for that reason, I don't know which Tales game should come next, and that's where you guys come in. The way this is going to work, if you want to see a Tales game next, you can either vote for Tales of question mark if you really don't know which one to say next, you don't have a strong opinion, you just want to see more Tales. Or you can vote for Tales of Symphonia or Gross AF or whatever. You can vote for a specific Tales game. What I will do is I will take all of the Tales votes and tally them into their own specific tally. So basically, anyone that voted for any type of Tales game, whatever, will go into one tally, and it will say Tales of X got this many votes. Then there'll be a separate tally for which Tales game actually won. The second tally will only be looked at if the Tales big tally actually wins. So, that way, I don't want all of the people that are fans of the Tales series to basically start infighting and end up causing Tales not to be selected. But at the same time, I don't want, I want all the other games to have a fair showing. I want everyone to feel like that they need to make sure that their Tales game wins or anything like that. So, if someone ends up voting for two different Tales games as their two votes, which you totally can, I'm still only counting that as one vote in the overall Tales tally. So, that's the way that's going to work. The other thing I should warn you about, I am very likely, if we end up with another situation like the last one. The last vote, for those of you that don't know, we ended up with Valkyria Chronicles and Tales of the Abyss getting the exact same number of votes. So if something like that happens again, where the vote is really, really, really close between Tales and something else, I'm likely to play something else. Not because of any desire not to play Tales, not because I didn't like Tales or anything like that, but simply for variety. I feel like Tales of the Abyss, I don't know if all the Tales games are like this, but Tales of the Abyss took a long time to get going. You had to get to about a third of the game before it really got good. And anyone that did not know that may have stopped watching. I know one of my longtime subscribers did say he kind of got, bored of Tales of the Abyss, and he ended up not following the series after about episode 30. And then he happened to catch it again like 40 episodes later, and some really interesting stuff was happening. He's like, "Crow." So I'm sure that may have happened as well. Because of that, I don't want my other subscribers that don't really get into Tales to feel like there's nothing on this channel for them. Now that said, if Tales legitimately wins by a decent margin, not by 1 or 2, but by a sizable margin, of course, Tales wins. Fair enough. But I really want to make sure that everyone has something to do on this channel. The last thing, any game that gets significant votes will be bumped up a little bit in my appraisal of what I should play next. So, it may end up being a side series that I just do whenever I beat one of my current 3. I'm not going to start any other series right now. I'm going to at least beat one of my current 3, which again is Xenogears, Atelier Iris, and Nocturne. Once I beat one of them, though, all's fair, and it will probably come from this list. I can't guarantee it, but probably. So, that's where we stand. By all means, get to voting. You have until Friday. In the meantime, I have 3 games to be playing. So I'll get on that, and you get on voting, and we'll have awesome content. See you guys.